content you are about to hear may be graphic.
So everybody, today we're going to do a little different. Tommy's driving, we're on an adventure. So he's pretty much going to react to TV show fan theories. Da, da, da.
And comment where appropriate.
This one we've discussed before, but Charlie Brown has no hair is because he has cancer, dreaming of his experiences from the confines of his sickbed rather than experiencing them firsthand. So he's like dreaming about this.
I still feel like he had hair. Like, I remember seeing hair.
He had like very little...
That's still hair. Like, that stupid show Doug, dude only had like 3 hairs, but he looked like, it looked like he only had like 3 hairs, but he, had a full head of hair, so. It's just the way that he's drawn, I think.
There's a lot of people. Alright, so remember the show Murder, She Wrote?
Oh yeah. I used to watch that show when I was a kid.
Me too. They say Fletcher was actually a serial killer who relayed these many dozens of murders into her best-selling mystery novels. She's a widow who never reveals the nature of her late husband's passing. She killed her husband.
I believe it. She was a shrewd old lady. You ever see, like, you'd see the way that she freaking found the people, and like, it was almost like she set it up so that, this person went down for the murder, but it was really her.
So like Dexter.
Yeah.
But he kills bad guys.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it just seemed like that to me.
City of Springfield is actually trapped inside a space warping tesseract.
That's right.
The rest of the world can change and grow all at once, but the residents of Springfield are simply not able to because they are trapped in time loop. The characters do recognize that time is passing. For instance, the family visits Italy, where sideshow Bob is now living with a wife and child, although they remain unaffected by it. The theory also accounts for how the characters are able to take the occasional trip since tesseract can shift location as needed.
That would explain why nobody ages.
Yeah, they're just kind of stuck.
Well, it's like 20 years of the baby as a baby.
It just bugs me.
Can you imagine being stuck as a baby for 20-something?
Same with The Incredibles, it bugged me that they didn't
make the baby grow up a little
bit.
Because
of the time difference. They just cut it off in the last movie. I'm like, it's been several years since you made the last movie.
We're gonna make it seem like it happened yesterday.
So Sesame Street. The Count feasts on the blood of young Sesame Street goers while enslaving the residents, adults as its minions. It's the only thing that explains why you never see the same kids for more than one episode. One child, 2 child, 3 child,
3 blood bank, 4 blood bank.
Alright, according to a widely spread fan theory, the character Will Smith, played by actor Will Smith, I don't know, is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Is the same in the show as it is in real life, I think.
I didn't know. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was actually killed during the altercation described in the opening sequence when he hops a plane to California and jumps in a cab. He's actually embarking on the otherworldly journey. God is a cab driver. Fans insist this is also why we rarely see Will's parents.
No, because that was all explained in the show.
Yeah, I don't know.
His father abandoned his family. His mother couldn't take care of him because he was unruly as a teenage boy. So she sent him to go live with her sister and her sister's husband. It's explained.
And of course, The Simpsons can tell the future. Really,
everybody thinks The Simpsons can tell the future. They have.
I don't know how he does it, but somehow they knew when Trump was going to be president. They knew
They have
9/11
predicted
was gonna
a lot of
happen.
things. A lot. Is this guy letting me go around him?
His turn.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go around him anyway.
Vibrations.
Woo! Sorry.
Alright,
Sorry.
this was interesting. Gilligan's Island millionaire Mr. Howell was on a waterway drug deal and had the good sense to load up enough cargo just in case an aqua bust occurred and a gateway boat chase became necessary. They paid off Gilligan to ferry him, the skipper too. You can't help but feel bad for Marianne in this situation since there is paying her as an undercover federal agent aboard to witness and manage the criminals.
What? That makes no sense to me. I mean, Mr. Earl did seem a little shifty, but...
Oh, rich man.
Yeah, it's hard to... Don't look at me like that. Trick behind me. I'm slowing down because there's a speed limit sign. Dipshit.
So, American Horror Story, each season represents one of the 9 circles of hell from Dante's Inferno.
That one I believe.
It's that there are people being punished for the same sin in each season. Murder House is limbo, Asylum is fraud, Coven is treachery, Freak Show is greed, Hotel is gluttony, Roanoke is anchor, Cult is hearsay, with only lust and violence left to be tackled. Breaking me away. That's the next one. Kind of makes sense. There's something definitely about American
Yeah, no,
Horror
I
Story.
believe that.
I think personally though, there's past lives or alternate universes or something along those lines.
Yeah. Possibly. I just know there's something weird about it, but I believe that could be possible.
This one's Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead are part of the same universe.
What?
The belief is that it was Walter White and his Blue Sky product that started the zombie apocalypse. It's entirely plausible since there have been reports about people turning zombie-like after a bad trip. If you don't get enough sleep.
I don't know. Because in The Walking Dead, they were actual zombies. And in Breaking Bad, you come back after your trip. So
Yeah, if you get some sleep.
I'm just saying, I don't believe that one.
So Doctor Who, this fan stated that the Doctor was actually the character's name and not a title. His name was Doctor Who, and not as a doctor.
Well, no, it's not a title. But that's just what people call him because he won't tell anybody his name.
What's your name, Doctor Who? I don't know, I haven't watched it.
She's gonna watch it. I'm gonna make her. Good show. Love Doctor Who.
So SpongeBob, one dark theory suggests that Krabby Patties contain real crabs.
Say that again?
In SpongeBob, they say that Krabby Patties contain real crabs. She explains why he's the only crab that's at the bikini bottom.
Anytime a crab comes along, they get killed and put in the meat.
Yeah.
Cannibalism.
Let's see, in Grey's Anatomy, Meredith suffers from dreaded disease, Alzheimer's, and all of her friends and family in the show are the embodiment of emotions she has forgotten to feel. And all of
feel the need to go around me.
Meredith's voiceovers are her telling bedtime stories to her 3 children, explain why the plot lines of most of the episodes are so over the top and dramatic. The fan theory leaves all the sad characters' deaths open to interpretation as well as none of them may have happened.
From which one?
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, I never watched that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like all in her head and her Alzheimer's.
I think it's 64.
I guess it said that her mother or somebody had. I didn't really watch much of it.
I never watched Grey's Anatomy, so I don't know anything about it.
Interesting. Stranger Things, what if 11 is the monster from the Upside Down? This theory is based on the fact that 11 first sees the monster Demogorgon when she is in sensory deprivation tank. So she is conjuring up the creature in her mind. Not only does she quote, "I am the monster," but she also disappears after the monster is destroyed.
So, what they're saying is over here she's a little girl, and over there she's a demigorgon.
Yeah, and then upside down. I only watched the first season so far.
I've watched the first two.
I'm behind.
I want to watch the third one, but we have to get moved before we can start watching all these shows. We have a list.
Hopefully we'll get in the apartment next week.
Actually, if there's any shows you want us to watch, just comment. We'll try to get them.
Let's see here. In Friends, this include Ross suffering from Asperger's, the whole show just being a dream, and Phoebe being addicted to meth. The craziest one, however, has to be the one that claims all 6 of the main characters are in a mental asylum throughout the show. It is thought that each of the friends suffered a traumatic incident that caused them to be locked away in a mental institution. For Phoebe, it was her mother's suicide. Joey couldn't deal with being the only male sibling in his large family. Ross couldn't overcome his abandonment issues. Rachel was a psychopath. Monica couldn't get over being bullied at school, as Chandler's dysfunctional family life pushed him over the edge. The entire show is therefore just the lives they imagined they would have had.
I don't know.
I've had dreams like that where you wake up from in your dream.
I don't know. I like the storyline too much.
Yeah, I've only watched a few episodes.
Oh my god, I've seen every single one. Every single one. I love Friends.
I like this next theory. I think it's true.
The what theory?
Next theory.
Oh.
Titanic Jack may have been a time traveler sent to the Titanic to prevent Rose from killing herself
I heard that.
and to ensure the ship will sink. If Rose had indeed jumped into the sea, the ship would have had to stop its journey to save her, which means it may have missed the iceberg completely. Evidence in support of the theory includes Jack talking about ice fishing at a lake that was only built 5 years after the tragedy, and taking Rose on a roller coaster that was only built 4 years after the sinking. Also, his hair and rucksack were not in the fashion of that particular era in which the Titanic sank.
I heard this theory and I actually kind of enjoy the possibility that he came back to fucking save her.
I think it makes sense.
I think it makes sense too.
Even if he didn't, the writer, is it James Cameron who wrote it?
I think James Cameron is the director, not the writer.
And whoever wrote it, even if he didn't mean to, it's a good theory.
Well, I think that it's a plausible theory. I think that, you know, I think that it happened, but I also don't understand why they would want to save her and make sure that it sinks. Like, why does it need to sink? You know what I mean? Like, what does it change that it's when it sinks rather than not sinking?
Butterfly effect. You never know. Could have prevented Trump from being president. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. In X-Files, Scully joked about her immortality. Back in season 3, a psychic told Scully she wouldn't die when she and Mulder asked about their own deaths. It is also theorized that she became immortal in season 6 after avoiding looking at death. She will therefore be able to save mankind perpetually from creatures, ghouls, and haunting it. So they're saying she's immortal.
That is an interesting theory. I don't know, I stopped watching X-Files after like the 4th season.
I've watched all of them except for the very new ones that they just started coming out.
Well, I stopped watching them when they got ridiculous.
I like it.
I mean, it was always a little ridiculous, but it got like super duper ridiculous. And like implausible ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it's not supposed to be truthful.
No, I'm just saying, like, it got to the point where I just couldn't keep up. I couldn't believe it, you know? Part of me wants to believe that stuff like that might be real, and if it doesn't seem plausible, then I'm not gonna believe it.
I think everything can be real in other dimensions and stuff. Reese, this theory has it that Sandy drowned on the beach. She nearly drowned, sings Danny in Summer Nights, and Danny was unable to save her. The rest of the movie that plays out is Sandy's dream while she is in a coma, slowly becoming brain dead. The end of the movie, when the happy couple flies away in an airborne red convertible, it symbolizes her flying off to heaven. An even darker theory suggests that Sandy commits suicide at the end of the movie and then flies off in the car with Danny. It went lifetime if people just busted a song to know, I guess.
I don't know.
This ain't nearly drowned. Let's see here. Mary Poppins could be a Time Lord. This includes her mode of transport, floating around with the help of an umbrella. She is British. She makes friends everywhere she lands. She only stays where she is until a problem is solved. She has a bag that apparently has no limit on the inside. She can control time.
I've actually heard that theory, and I think it's a very plausible theory. I think that
more to Mary Poppins.
I think that whoever wrote Mary Poppins took a little bit from the Doctor Who show. You know what I mean?
What came first, Mary Poppins or Doctor Who?
Doctor Who. That was back in like the 20s, I think, is when that started. Because it was in black and white, long before Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I knew it's been on for a long time.
I think. That's something that I would like to know.
I think it came out in like the 50s, but I'm not sure.
Mary Poppins?
No, the Doctor Who.
Huh.
I don't know.
Well, why did it
You
start in
guys
black
know,
and
let
white?
me know.
Yeah, that's something I want to know. Because if you don't look it up, I'm gonna.
See here, Home Alone Gus Polanski, played by John Candy, is a crossroads demon or the devil and takes Kate McCallister's soul so she may be with her son, who is forgotten at home. Kate states that she would sell her soul to the devil in the movie after realizing her son wasn't there with her. And some have taken this to be literal. In another movie, John Candy does play the devil, which is taken as further proof of his demonic presence in Home Alone.
Huh.
It is kind of weird how she all of a sudden needs tickets and he's got it or whatever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Well, they were rich, so I thought all she had to do was.
they were sold out, I think.
Huh.
And he was like, "Oh, I'll give you my tickets so you can get home to your kids."
I don't know. Interesting theory.
We saw this theory yesterday. Frozen's Elsa.
Half a mile, turn right to stay on US 12 West.
Frozen's Elsa and Anna are Tarzan's sisters after Elsa and Anna's parents are shipwrecked at the beginning of the movie, leaving their two daughters alone together in Arendelle. The audience is left to assume that they died at sea. They didn't die on the boat. They got washed up on shore in a jungle island. The queen gave birth to a baby boy. They built a treehouse. They got eaten by
Take the next right
a
to stay on
leopard.
US 12 West.
And Elsa and Anna's parents are Tarzan's parents.
That actually, the picture that they show of
Continue on US 12 West for
the
17
parents of
miles.
Tarzan's parents is exactly the same picture they show of Elsa and Anna's
Well, the
parents.
people that wrote it actually, I guess, said that it is what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
The conspiracy is true.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's the exact same picture. It's not like, oh, well, that's very similar. No, it's the exact same picture. If you take the pictures and put them next to each other, it's true.
Yeah,
So that's not just a fan theory. It's true.
Yeah, that's what the developers later said. This is true. Futurama. Bender, that all Futurama fans know is a reckless misanthropic criminal.
Yeah, I know the word.
But according to a fan theory, the foul-mouthed robot is only this way due to an electrical issue. Ah, stupid thing.
Sorry, it was the road, guys.
Let's see here. Due to an electrical issue that we see in the pilot. In the show's first episode, Bender is uncharacteristically depressed after learning that he has been making suicide moves. An Another important facet is the theory is that when Bender reboots, his personality is set to a mode that befits his surroundings, which happens in the episode where he becomes a pigeon. The theory states that when Bender gets electrocuted, the Hall of Criminals, he reboots to a criminal personality himself. Kind of makes sense.
I always thought he was a little aggressive anyway.
I think that makes sense.
But he is the only truly aggressive robot. Like, there are some that are murderous, but there's a reason.
Scooby-Doo was about kids trying to escape the draft. As the show premiered in 1969, the same year as the height of the Vietnam War, the Scooby-Doo gang is driving to Canada to escape the draft. The theory posits that the clean-cut Fred was drafted, but ran away to be with his fiancée Daphne. Hippie Shaggy and activist Velma join them as they both oppose the war as well.
Am I supposed to pull over?
Yeah. Ambulance. They also, in that same context, think that Scooby-Doo took place.
Sorry, guys.
Hit it? Yeah.
Okay. Adventure.
Come on. I'm being stupid.
You tell it. My bad, guys. I forgot the phone was there when I pulled out.
You mean the thing we've been talking to the whole time?
Huh?
You mean the thing we've been talking to for 21 minutes?
Yeah, but sometimes I just feel like I'm talking to you. And not to... Was I supposed to pull over again?
Yeah. Apparently
On a
there's
4-lane road?
ambulances.
I don't know how that works.
So yeah, I've heard of the depression theory because, for one, they're all driving around and everything looks very slum-like.
Almost post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Ooh. Driving past the paper factory. Woo! God, even with the windows up.
But yeah, so like everything's very, and then like all the bad guys are very well-to-do people, like teachers and stuff.
People you wouldn't expect to be bad guys. God, that smells. I hate that paper factory. Oh. It's almost as bad as downtown Tacoma.
So, the Simpsons are a family of geniuses. Lisa is the only member of the family who accepts her genius, while the others purposefully quash their brilliance in order to have happy lives. Marge was once an amazing student, but left her academic pursuits behind to become a homemaker. In regards to Homer, it was revealed that a crown lodged in his brain was what was suppressing his intelligence.
Yeah.
And Homer was very literally chooses to be dumb, but happy rather than smart, and miserable, by putting the crown back in his brain. Finally, in another episode, we see Bart was once a gifted child, but then his grades began to decline. The episode blamed it on a gene that makes male Simpsons stupid, but Homer's crown incident proves that instead, Bart saw how happy his dad was in his life despite his lack of intelligence and decided to strive for happiness instead of genius. He uses his brains to come up with elaborate pranks instead of schoolwork.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And Maggie, I mean, if you watch her, she's freaking super smart. Even as a baby, you know.
Yeah, she's smart. This was kind of sad. The Rugrats are all fragments of Angelica's imagination.
Fragments. Not fragments.
The babies were all merely a product of lonely girl's imagination. Angelica's imagined her parents' friends having babies in order for her to have someone to play with. Chucky and his mother died which is why his father is constantly a nervous wreck. Tommy was stillborn leading Stu to always make toys for the son he never had. And the DeVilles had an abortion, so Angelica imagined male and female twins, as she didn't know the gender. That makes sense.
Very interesting. When you see, am I on the right track? I haven't heard from this stupid thing in a while.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
15 minutes away.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I don't want to get lost.
And this one's been confirmed, actually. The peddler in Aladdin is confirmed by the film's director, Ron Clements and John Musker. The speculation was that the peddler who welcomes us to Agrabah at the beginning of the film was actually the genie in the form of a human. Viewers picked up on this after noticing that the peddler had 4 fingers and was voiced by Robin Williams.
Duh.
Clements confirmed that this is true and said that confirmed this is true and said there was a scene planned where the peddler reveals himself to be the genie, but it was cut for time.
No, I knew that. Like when I was a kid, I was like, "That's the same guy."
I just assumed it was.
I figured the genie chose him. You know, because he figured he'd be the most likely to let him out.
Right.
In my opinion, I don't know if that's true, but
Robin made the best genie.
I love Will Smith. Don't get me wrong.
I haven't watched
But
the new one yet, though.
Robin Williams is the genie. Like, there's no other genie for me. And I'm sorry, I've seen clips of Will Smith, and he just doesn't live up to
I find
the
it weird,
hype.
though, how Men in Black, which he's known for, comes out at the same time as Aladdin. Like, he should have been in the Men in Black one. I don't think Men in Black's going to be the same without Will Smith.
Right.
Okay. Nemo was an imaginary device for Marlin to come to terms with his wife's death. In Latin, Nemo translates to no one. This helps spur the theory that Marlin's son doesn't actually exist, but is just an invention he uses in order to come to terms with the death of his wife. We see Marlin go through the 5 stages of grief in the film. First, now when he invents Nemo's egg after the rest of his family are killed. Second, anger, as he freaks out whenever Nemo is too far away from him. Third, bargaining, as he convinces Dory to join his quest and then puts it up with her. Fourth, despair, when he sees Nemo flush down the toilet. And finally, acceptance, as he is able to let Nemo go off on his own in the end.
I don't know if I believe that theory, but it's a good theory. I just don't know if I believe
That
it.
is sad. Well, it's weird how he's the only one that survives with the little yippee group Finn. Like,
Yeah, but everybody sees Nemo, don't they?
yeah, but if everybody is a coping mechanism.
Oh, you think that even
Maybe.
the others were a coping
Yeah,
mechanism?
so like maybe everything was made up in his head.
That might have been a possible theory until Dory had her show, movie about her family and her life. So
I haven't watched it.
she wasn't a coping mechanism. I'm just saying. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't believe it. And I slept it, you guys. Eric is in a coma for half of that 70s show. Eric was in a coma for the whole second half of the show. In season 4, episode 15, Eric ventures out into a tornado while everyone else is at snow prom to pick up Donna from his radio station. From her radio station. In a subsequent scene, you can hear an announcer on the radio say that the warning has been lifted and the local teen is in critical condition. If this teen was Eric, none of his friends or family would know until after the storm died down, and that's when his comatose mind would take over the storytelling in an attempt to imagine his life being as normal. His mind finally lets go in the end as he imagines his friends and family living without him. He shows up to say one last goodbye in the final before finally dying. That's sad.
I don't know. I like that 70s show, and I like to think that he's just fine.
Well, that's kind of messed up that he
No,
named
it's 64,
Donna.
you dipshit.
I hated that he left Donna.
Oh, I never saw that far, thanks. Yeah, spoiler alert.
I've seen it like 8 times. I binge watched that shit.
And we got to like, I think the 6th season or something like that. But thanks for the spoiler.
Don't know why or what happens. They break
Just
up
know
several
why.
times, remember?
Well, I knew that, but, you know, I didn't know that he left her. Spoiler alert.
You don't know when or why or how. Alright.
None of that shit. Just that it happened.
Willy Wonka killed and sacrificed those kids cabin in the woods style. The end of Joss Whedon's recent Cabin in the Woods laid out a few rules for making a sacrificial offering. I like the Cabin in the Woods actually.
It's one of my favorite
To
movies.
summon demonic beings to destroy the world, and one fan theory noticed that Willy Wonka is basically following this same formula while giving children a tour of his factory. Each of the kids is one of the 5 archetypes that CITW describes.
I think it's meant to be sight.
Maybe. Augustus is the whore whose lust for food leads to his downfall. Violet is the athlete who is a gum-chewing champion brought down by athlete challenge. Veruca is the fool, a spoiled brat who blindly runs for clearly dangerous squirrels. Mike is the scholar, a television expert. Taken down by his arrogance, and finally Charlie is the virgin, mostly just because he is pure innocent motives. And it kind of makes sense, but
It kind of does, but at the same time, I don't know if I believe it.
I mean, nothing's like Cabin in the Woods.
Right?
They should make more Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
They
man.
should.
I think that was a good movie.
Although at the very end the whole world explodes, so they could do at the last minute the hippie in there survive.
I thought the hippie survived anyway.
They both do, but at the very end they both die inside the cavern because they didn't get enough of the blood.
Huh.
Because they both had to die. But have it to where the gods kill him or something, or her, and then they get enough blood. So now they gotta bring it back. Let's see here. Have you watched Inception?
Yes.
The spinning top doesn't even matter in Inception. Cobb supposedly uses a top as his top totem, an object that will